Why God makes you wait. The blessing hidden in delay. Have you ever prayed for something so desperately that you began to wonder if God was even listening? You prayed for the relationship. You prayed for the financial breakthrough. You prayed for healing. You prayed for direction. But instead of answers, all you got was silence. If you have ever felt forgotten by God, this message is for you. Because what if God's delay is not his denial? What if the waiting season you are in right now is actually where God is preparing your greatest blessing? Today, we are going to discover why God makes us wait, what the Bible says about delayed blessings, and how your waiting season could be the very thing that transforms your life forever. One of the hardest things about having faith is trusting God when we cannot see what he is doing. We live in a world that wants everything immediately. Fast food, fast shipping, instant answers. But God does not operate on our timeline. Throughout the Bible, we see faithful people waiting. Not for days or weeks, but sometimes years and even decades. And yet, every single waiting season had a purpose. Let's look at Abraham and Sarah. God promised Abraham that he would become the father of many nations. There is only one problem. Abraham and Sarah had no children, and they were already old. Years passed. Then, more years passed. Can you imagine the questions Abraham must have asked? Did I hear God wrong? Did God forget about me? Will this promise ever happen? But God was not ignoring Abraham. God was preparing Abraham. When Abraham was 100 years old and Sarah was 90, God fulfilled his promise with the birth of Isaac. The lesson here is powerful. God's promises often take longer than we expect because he is working on things we cannot see. Isaiah chapter 55 verse 8 reminds us, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord." There are several reasons God may allow us to wait. First, God uses waiting to build our faith. Faith is not developed when everything goes according to plan. Faith is developed when nothing makes sense and we choose to trust God anyway. Second, God uses waiting to prepare us for what we are praying for. Sometimes we are asking God for blessings that we are not yet ready to handle. God is not punishing us. He is preparing us. Third, God uses waiting to protect us. How many times have we prayed for something only to realize later that if God had given it to us immediately, it would have hurt us instead of helped us? Sometimes God's not yet is actually an act of love. Romans chapter 8, verse 28 says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him and who have been called according